You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
We now wander off the beaten path with an update from the Reefer Reporter.
Hello and welcome to the Reefer Reporters with News Hawks, Rev Kelly and myself, Al Graham. It's October the 31st, and we're live here from the Legacy420.com news desk on our Pace Network's YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, and many other places as well. Good morning, Rev Kelly. How are you doing?
I'm riding into the news today.
All right.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. That's right. Exactly. As you said, you're riding into the news today.
Yeah.
I see you're all dressed up. Cowgirl?
That's right.
Cowgirl?
That's right. I can't tell what you are. Tell me what you are. What's going on?
I'm a medicated birthday cake.
They're colorful doobies at the top. I love it. Oh, that would be the best cake ever.
Yes, if they're all doobies.
Okay. Next birthday, Al. I'm making it for you.
All right. Yeah, it's Halloween. And after last week's show, you said, hey, Al, why don't we do something for Halloween?
Yeah, that's right.
So,
that's right. So
I did let it lapse a little bit. Then
we're dressed.
Yeah,
trick or
that's
treat
right.
with us today. You can get some news in your bag.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, talking about news, what do you say? Shall we get started?
Some good stuff today.
All right, here we go. First up, Saskatchewan court rules aspects of old medical cannabis regs violated the charter. This is coming to us from StratCan.
Ooh. A new court ruling has again reportedly found that aspects of the former ACMPR were in violation of the charter and has declared them to be of no force.
In a case that appears to mirror a 2020 Alberta court ruling, a judge in Saskatchewan has declared in a voir dire that certain aspects of Canada's old medical cannabis regulations that only allow LPs to sell cannabis online and through mail order and limit ingestible cannabis oils to 30 milligrams violated the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
Although the most recent decision has not been released publicly in full, last Friday it appeared in part in a report by Grasslands News, as well as on social media accounts that are connected to the case.
Yeah. In both cases, the courts declared that these aspects of the ACMPR to violate Section 7 of the Charter and to no longer stand as laws. The ACMPR, which was the Access to Cannabis for Medical Purposes Regulations, which was in force from August the 24th, 2016 until October the 17th, 2018, was repealed and replaced on that day by the Cannabis Act. These court rulings do not impact the Cannabis Act directly. However, they could potentially empower any similar challenge brought by someone facing similar charges under the Cannabis Act.
Ooh, okay. Well, among many other aspects of the regulations, the ACMPR placed a limit of 30 milligrams, 30 milliliters, for cannabis oil and only allowed licensed medical cannabis producers, LPs, to sell online and deliver via mail order.
Now, 4 years after the Cannabis Act came into force, a voir dire decision has been delivered by the Court of King's Bench of Saskatchewan that rules these limitations are violations of Section 7 of the Charter and thus are of no force.
Okay. So the ruling has not yet been released publicly. Individuals involved in the case have posted parts of it online, and Grassland News has obtained the copy, and they shared some of that ruling in part.
It says here, the justice says, I find the only appropriate remedy is that of a declaration. I conclude that certain sections of the ACMPR violate Section 7 of the Charter and do not qualify as a reasonable limitation under Section 1.
Okay. This is in Saskatchewan.
This is the whole federal ACMPR program, which is no longer used now because it's all been put into the Cannabis Act.
Right. And it was
Yeah,
a Saskatchewan court that ruled
the
this.
Saskatchewan court that ruled this. Yes, this would be part of the best buds situation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So another very long quote here. Accordingly, the following provisions are of no force and effect pursuant to Section 52(1) of the Constitutional Act of 1982. A. Limiting concentrations. B. The prohibition on LPs transferring cannabis products to a client other than by shipping to that person. C. The extent that it limits shipments to a client's home, the business of their medical practitioner who provided them with a medical document or a shelter. In addition, any other provisions of the ACMPR that restricts the LP to distributing medical cannabis to persons with a valid medical document only by mail order shipment, and any other provision that prohibits LPs from distributing concentrations of THC in cannabis oil and extracts above the 30 milligram milliliter is contrary to or violates Section 7 of the Charter and is thus of no force and effect. S52 of the CDSA is not unconstitutional in its entirety, but it is of no force and to effect to the extent that it prohibits an LP from the in-person sale of medical cannabis to an individual with a medical document within the meaning of the ACMPR.
That's a lot of words. And I'm not a lawyer, but you see there that things are, the 30 milligram limit
Yeah.
isn't valid. So does that mean that there will be maybe a licensed producer out there or somebody who may, knowing that that was a violation, would they just go ahead and try to produce something and challenge it under the Cannabis Act?
I don't know.
Mm.
Whew,
It's time
good
to tell.
thinking though, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. According to Grasslands News, the case was adjourned to pretrial on November the 18th, following the recent ruling. On that date, the court will decide if the larger case will continue or what conditions may be drawn from the results of the voir dire.
Now, the larger case that brought the specific charter challenges into question is one involving 3 individuals who operated medical cannabis dispensaries in Saskatchewan and were all separately charged for various cannabis-related charges, such as trafficking and possession.
Following those charges, all 3 jointly applied for a declaration that, among other arguments, the judge did not accept. The prohibition against in-person distribution and selling of medical cannabis in the ACMPR violates Section 7 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and so are of no force and effect.
Okay. So Kirk Tausaw, who was lead counsel in the R. Smith case that also led to a voir dire ruling, one that led to federal government having to allow forms of cannabis other than dried flower, which led to the creation of the current 30 milligram milliliter limit by Health Canada, says that he sees the most recent decision as an affirmation of the Smith case.
Yeah, Kirk Tausaw says, my view is that the decision is an important step in the evolution of medical cannabis access and appears to pave the way for federally licensed processors to sell cannabis directly to medical patients in storefronts. In addition, it reiterates that the decision in Smith finding that patients are entitled to derivatives cannot be limited to only the low dosage products available in the current legal regime. He goes on to say, I hope Health Canada takes the initiative to meet and work with longtime patient advocates and providers towards a system that works best for the patients.
Nice quote right there. I hope
Right
they look
there.
at
That's
that.
right.
I hope they
That's
see
right.
that. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Kirk was
Strong.
one of the lawyers that was in the Smith case, and we got to watch him at the Supreme Court of Canada fight that case.
Wow.
So,
I'm going to write that name down.
yeah, Kirk Tausaw.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Progress.
All righty. You got it written down?
I got it written down.
All right. On to our next article. This too is from Strachan, and it mentions that an Israeli company completes cannabis seed shipment to Canada.
It's an agri-tech company, and they recently completed their first ever shipment of medical cannabis seeds to a licensed producer right here in Canada.
Yeah, Better Seeds is in partnership with the with their Canadian partners, CanBreed Canada, a licensed producer located near Montreal, completed the transfer earlier this year.
The company says it's focused on non-GMO genome editing using CRISPR, it looks like, Cas9, to create a novel breed of seeds and crop traits that addresses the 21st century. Better Seeds CEO Ido Margali says the seeds represent a unique cultivar that is 100% stable and uniform. Wow.
Yeah, Michael Druckman of CanBreed Canada says that the current batch of seeds now in Canada is for trial purposes, and once successful varieties are selected, the company plans to produce them on site.
That's amazing. Health Canada only allows the import of cannabis and cannabis starting materials like seeds under fairly limited medical and research purposes. Only federally licensed cannabis producers are allowed to import or export cannabis.
Yeah, until recently, Israel also did not allow the export of cannabis seeds. A law of Better Seeds CEO, along with others, helped to change. The company also recently completed their first export of seeds into the U.S.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Quoted as saying, the Israeli agriculture minister Oded Ferrer says Israeli has the ability to make its mark on the industry and be among the world's leaders. Wow. CanBreed's site is in Israel is comprised of a 12,000 square foot facility that includes offices, R&D labs, a seed testing and processing facility, in addition to a 45,000 square foot farm. CanBreed's fully owned subsidiary company in the U.S. also operates a 140,000 square foot hemp seed production farm for the U.S. market.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Seeds are popping, coming in from Israel, and they've had some good seeds, good strains.
Great.
Then I know at one time the licensed producers here were looking for their strains to be able to sell, produce their gardens with.
Mhm.
All righty, on to our next story. This one comes to us from the Hill. Recreational cannabis on the ballot in these states this November.
I
Things
love
to
this
keep
photo.
an eye on.
Look at this photo. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. The ever growing list of states where people can legally buy recreational cannabis could get a little longer this fall.
Recreational cannabis is already legal in 19 states, and legalization proposals are on the ballot this fall in South Dakota, North Dakota, Kansas, Missouri, and Maryland.
An Oklahoma group succeeded in getting the required signatures necessary for a referendum, but the Oklahoma Supreme Court ultimately ruled that there wasn't enough time to get the questions into ballots by November. The vote would likely be delayed until 2024 unless the governor or legislator calls for a special election.
Yeah, backers of the Missouri ballot proposal are highlighting a provision that would erase past cannabis-related convictions for nonviolent offenders and those whose convictions didn't include selling to minors or driving while high.
Okay, despite 60% of Americans supporting the legalization of recreational cannabis in a 2021 Pew Research poll, and over 90% saying either medical or recreational cannabis should be legal, it doesn't appear that federal law will be changing anytime soon. Yuck.
It's sad.
Come on, you guys.
Yeah. In July, Senators Chuck Schumer, Cory Booker, and Ron Wyden released a bill to legalize cannabis, but just like all the other bills, it's waiting to be sitting there, be voted on. So, recreational cannabis, there's a bunch of states right there, eh? You can
It's
just
a
see them.
lot.
It's a lot, yeah. And, well, there they are. They're all in that gap there.
I didn't realize Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska,
That's new to
Arizona.
me. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
visit there now.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Go up and see the
cool.
mountains. Go up and see the
Yeah,
mountains. Yeah, the
beautiful.
ice caps. States that recently voted to legalize recreational cannabis are now working to navigate the new regulations that come with it. And New York, where recreational cannabis was approved in March of 2021, more than 900 would-be dispensary owners have applied in the first wave of retailers.
So
Wow,
cool.
900 already, eh?
Whew. The cannabis office tweeted in late September saying, "We look forward to building the nation's most equitable and diverse cannabis market. The state will start by initially making 150 licenses available. All will go to people with past cannabis convictions or who have had relatives charged with cannabis crimes. There's no exact date yet for sales to begin in New York, which is expected to become one of the country's biggest cannabis markets." Al, I didn't realize that. Did you know that all will go to people with past cannabis convictions or of relatives charged with cannabis crimes?
Not all of them, no. But I knew that them as well as other states are working on getting people who have been victims of cannabis prohibition to get them involved in the new system.
All of them. All
Yeah,
of them will go
all
to
of
that.
them.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
Yeah.
Hello, Canada. Can you hear this?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
I think I might have closed off a story, Kelly, by
No,
mistake.
that's okay. Should I keep
All
talking?
right.
That's the story that you closed off?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to go on to Cannabis No Longer a Controlled Substance in Nevada, just so you know.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I might have shut that off by mistake.
That's okay.
Those things do
We just
happen.
made a really good point. We talked about how incredible that is and called for Canada to do the same thing.
Yes, Canada has to do the same thing, and it's a shame because there hasn't been very many people that have they haven't applied.
Yes.
Whereas all these states are just doing it with a swipe of a pen,
Right. And it's a requirement to work as a bud tender that you have no criminal record.
Well, there you go.
So you can't even. I
Can't even do that.
No.
Yeah, exactly. All right, on to the next story. Cannabis no longer a controlled substance in Nevada following judge's ruling.
A Clark County judge ruled Wednesday that the Nevada Board of Pharmacy does not have the authority to regulate cannabis and cannabis derivatives under state law.
Judge Joe Hardy had previously ruled from the bench that the pharmacy's board's classification of cannabis as a Schedule I controlled substance violated the Nevada Constitution.
Now, Wednesday's ruling means the Nevada Board of Pharmacy cannot reschedule cannabis as a controlled substance under any schedule.
Oh, wow. Why doesn't this go to the feds? Let's go
Yeah.
right to the top.
Hello.
Hey, hello. Yeah. Cannabis has been legal in Nevada for decades, but that hasn't stopped law enforcement from treating Black and brown people like criminals. We're grateful for the ACLU of Nevada for taking this case on and for Judge Hardy for hearing it with fairness and dignity. As far as the social equity is concerned, we've seen businesses act strategically to keep Black and brown people out of the unlicensed market by preventing pathways to ownership. CEIC is hopeful that as of the last loopholes allowing for the criminalization of cannabis fall by the wayside, we can get back to our original mission of assisting the communities harmed the most by the failed war on drugs find a way into the industry.
Wow.
Yes.
Whew. Wow. There's been an ongoing inconsistency with how Nevada categorizes cannabis. For some people, it's a medicine or a good time on a Friday night. And for some people, it was a felony. We're glad that we've now resolved this inconsistency to prevent further injustice and will continue our work to ensure the promise of cannabis decriminalization is realized in Nevada.
Yeah, there's the court case right there, right?
Nice visual.
All right.
Whew. That's cool.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could take that to the federal end of things.
Yeah.
Or maybe other states follow the same thing.
Jump on board.
If they could,
Yeah.
if they could follow that same route and then just get to the point where, like, even now, it's ridiculous. All right, off we go to commercial break. Kelly and I'll be right back after our joint session. See you in about 2 minutes.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Growing your own cannabis is easier than you think. Whether you're growing for recreational or medical purposes, BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. From the standard 4-plant recreational systems to the latest cutting-edge hydroponic equipment, BMA can customize your package and do it at discount prices. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and ask us for a free estimate. Or call 613-967-9888 and we will give you an estimate over the phone.
The only way to go.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Hey, we're back for a medication session, and we're live here on the Pace Network's YouTube channel, Twitter account, Facebook pages, and Rev Kelly's back in with the news on her faithful horse by the name of
Pothead.
Pothead. I thought maybe it might be hash or something, you know.
Oh, I like that too. That'll be his last name. Oh my goodness, we're silly.
Yes, you know, he looks like a nice chunk of hash there, you know. Something, right?
Start smoking the horse, Al. Oh, no.
Well, horses are good for growing cannabis, you know, like their remains anyways. Like,
yes, that's
you know,
true. That's true.
Their weight.
We love our horses.
That's right. Hey, I agree with mine in it. I agree with mine in that stuff. So, all right, on to the next story in the second half. And don't forget, we got the Munchie moment as well at the end of the broadcast. First, here we go. No, you can't buy weed at Cookies New York store yet. Why?
Not yet. Cookies East Coast takeover continues this weekend in New York City, this past weekend. It's the weed capital of the world. The massive brand is scheduled to open in Manhattan flagship store in Herald Square yesterday. Berner himself promised to be there for a meet and greet from 12 to 5, with the store itself staying open until 8 p.m.
Come early and be ready for long lines. Think of how past generations lined up before dawn to get the latest iPhone or Nike releases. The Cookies brand now carries similar clout. This is an all ages event, so no ID is necessary since Cookies cannabis will not be for sale.
Now, the store will be selling everything Cookies except for weed. Nobody's been licensed to sell in New York yet, so you can spend your cash on authentic Cookies gear, but not the real stuff yet.
If you don't know Cookies, they're a multi-state cannabis operation. It's an essential player in the mainstreaming of cannabis culture. The brand is led by CEO, indie rapper, and former bud tender Berner, who ranked top 5 in Zach O'Malley Greenberg's latest report on hip-hop's wealthiest artists. I've never heard of him myself.
He's really well known, and what he's done in cannabis and for this brand is just there's nothing like it. He's a monster.
I know the Cookie name, but I know the Cookie name.
Yeah, that's him. So you have to check out their most popular Cookies frequently asked questions. Where is the Cookies New York store located?
Head to 958 6th Avenue in New York City on the corner of 35th Avenue, a couple of blocks from the Madison Square Garden and Penn State. You can't miss the giant baby blue mural, a 5-story building which will include cannabis education and a cultural hub.
Cookies San Francisco and Herald Square will be open 7 days a week. Oh my, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Ooh. Now they're asking, what is Cookies Cannabis? What is it?
Yeah. Cookies in San Francisco is a San Francisco-based company that provides cannabis created for the concierge.
According to
the company's Leafly brand hub, Cookies began with two visionary founders, grow expert Jay and entrepreneur Bernard, whose Girl Scout cookies remains one of the most sought-after cannabis strains in the world.
Right, that's what he did. Now, so why is Cookies store the big news? Of course, because it's
Why?
New York. There's a shot right there. It's located in Herald Square, one of Manhattan's liveliest commercial hubs. Cookies San Francisco SF store will be a prime tourist attraction for cannabis lovers from abroad, as well as for native New Yorkers. Absolutely, it'll bring cannabis tourism there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. The attention to detail that sets their cannabis apart also shows in their merchandise designs. So while you can't purchase the brand's legendary bud at the Herald Square store, you can stock up on the collector items like this psilocybin New York pizza t-shirt.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. It's amazing. They're asking if it's going to sell.
I didn't know that they were doing psilocybin. I thought it was just the cannabis end.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They're on the cusp of everything. They're just like, they're the cool brand, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I know the brand. I know the name. I just don't know much history around behind it or the owners or anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. There we go. Cookies. Now, will the Cookies San Francisco store in New York sell legal cannabis? They say nope, not yet. So don't show up to this weekend's grand opening expecting to grab an authentic bag of cookies treats, but the brand does hope to get a license when they become available to out-of-the-state operators like themselves. New York law requires the state residents with cannabis convictions will be the first to get dispensary licenses later this year. And in a statement released on Twitter this week, the company addressed this question specifically.
Yeah. And then it asks if Cookies is hiring. No, stop sending us applications, basically. Like everybody wants to work there. No. People are lined up. We'll work for free. No, for real, they want to work there. It's the cool thing, right? It'll probably start popping up in pop culture, movies, and it's just really, this flagship store will be huge to them. And then, of course, will Berner be at the store's grand opening?
Yeah, I'm scrolling down through the article there, and they're getting into different things. It says cookies available in New York dispensaries, and they said not officially, because obviously the stores aren't open, but in the dispensaries maybe.
Yep.
Is it available in the gray market? Is cookies available in the gray market, or just?
Yeah, of course.
They even tell you how you can tell that you're smoking.
Yeah.
It even tells you how you can tell that you're smoking authentic cookies.
Yep.
The only way to know for sure that you're smoking authentic cookies is to buy it from a licensed seller in one of the states that have approved brand stores.
So they probably have like people that are trying to pass it off as cookies.
Yeah. Well, or if you get go buy some seeds or Girl Scout cookies.
Right.
Would that be along that line?
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else is on there?
Just talks about Berner a little bit. He's really like he made the Forbes cover of Forbes magazine. Like he's like the wealthiest guy in cannabis that I've ever heard of.
Really?
He's like a cannabis tycoon.
Yeah. Well, seems to be lots of news. On it. I have heard the brand and all that, but as far as the I haven't had any. I know that anyways.
Okay, I'm gonna get some and share it with you.
Yes.
Birthday hat.
And I don't like when I go in the stores. I'm not usually looking for the cannabis end of things, so I don't see them.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get cookies up here except on the gray market. I don't know, but
okay. Well, that would explain that
Maybe
then.
they're Canada. Sometimes. I don't know. I
Don't
know
go
about
looking
those.
for it, Al.
Yeah, I don't know if they're. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Look for it.
We'll go look for it. Yeah, have to take a look. I'm heading into Campbellford tomorrow, so there'll be a couple stores over there. So if I get time, I'll go and see what's in there.
Girl Scout cookies, a
Yeah.
derivative.
Maybe. You never know. All right, on to the next story. Twin brothers and mother convicted of drug dealing. And this comes to us from somewhere over in England. I think it's the BBC.
Yeah. A pair of twin brothers and their mother have been convicted of running a drug dealing business worth hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Yep. Bradley and Brendan Vidvak, the 23, the Straight Road Colchester, were each sentenced to 2 years, 6 months in prison.
Their mother was given a 21-month jail sentence, suspended for 2 years.
They faced various charges, including being concerned in the supply of cannabis, and were sentenced at Ipswich Crown Court on October the 17th, day of legalization.
Legalization day. Oh my!
Yeah.
Look at all those pounds. Essex police said police were sent a menu of products, including cannabis baked in cookies and gummy bear sweets, and that evidence suggested some drugs were being dealt to children outside schools. Oh no.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good at all. Not to the kids at schools.
No.
The drug dealing which this family was involved in was simply for extra pocket money, according to the inspector, Mark Jones. He says this was a serious organized crime, and it was generating several criminal profits. Significant criminal profits. That's 3 people. They consider, at least here anyways, 3 people is organized crime.
Right. Let's see. They seized more than 12,000 pounds worth of cannabis. Said the business turned an estimate $400,000 pounds in 16 months. Ooh, they must have been good gummy bears.
An examination of Bradley's phone found that he regularly sent out bulk messages advertising products. Access Police says the pair had left legitimate employment to focus on the criminal activities and had worked set hours 5 days a week while taking Wednesdays and Sundays off. Well, obviously they made a lot of money by the looks of it, 400,000 pounds.
Mom baked the cannabis products that the profits from the business passed between their 3 bank accounts. The Bradley was convicted of being concerned in the supply of cannabis and acquiring, using possession of criminal property. He had a knife. Oh my, okay. They detained the vehicle that was carrying everything.
Yeah. Nobody carrying knives around with you. Brendan was convicted of being concerned in the supply of cannabis. This concerned, this is the word that, just guilty of, selling cannabis, of acquiring, using, and possessing criminal property, so on and so forth. And their mother was convicted of being in the supply of cannabis concerned. So basically the same charges. Yeah.
So mom was the baker.
The
Sons were the runners.
Boys were the runners. Would that be the Dukes of Hazzard of?
Yeah. It's the Dukes of Hazzard.
Didn't Grandpa have run the still, and the boys ran the moonshine and the?
Maybe. It sounds about right. That sounds about right. I think
that's the way I remember it.
I remember Boss Hogg. He was the one that came after them. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no. Well, Dukes of Hazzard, UK version.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. All right. On to our next story. And this one says that Germany unveils cannabis legalization plans.
So nice to see. Germany this week officially unveiled its cannabis legalization plans, allowing the possession of up to 30 grams of cannabis and regulated sales to adults. That's according to the Associated Press report. There are still questions about whether the plan will be approved by the cabinet, as officials want to be sure the legislation is compatible with European Union law.
Health Minister Karl Lauterbach said the legalization plan aims to combat illegal cannabis sales in the nation and that the government would tightly regulate the market. Under the plan, the social effects of the reforms would be examined after 4 years. Similar, sounds like Canada. Ours was after 3.
Now, according to a draft plan outlined this week, THC in cannabis products would be limited to 15%, and adults would be allowed to cultivate up to 2 plants for personal use. Individuals under 18 caught with cannabis would be exempt from criminal punishment, but youth welfare officers could advise that young people participate in prevention courses and the cannabis would be confiscated. That's according to the draft document.
Yeah, not. I don't like the 15% there.
Yeah.
The limit, the cap on the THC. There's so many strains that are available out there.
Yep.
And people obviously can get things to be improved.
Right.
2 plants. What are you going to do with 2 plants?
2 plants, and I've never seen that verbiage before. That the young people participating in prevention courses, if they're caught with it, it's interesting that's the way they're taking.
Like a drug counseling or something, maybe. I know here in Canada we have for the minors, the 17, 18-year-olds. That depending on where you are, anyways, that the charges, they sort of don't want to charge you, but they want to give you punishment, but not give you a conviction or a record.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Interesting.
Where were we? According to the draft plan outlined, following the release of the draft document, Nicholas Kuparanis, CEO of Bloomwell Group, Germany's largest cannabis company, warned that the THC limits may play into the hands of the illegal market. Well, it's got to,
You might be, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
if you're not going to get it on the legal market, and you can only grow 2 plants, so you can't make your edibles at home.
Correct.
Lauterbach has estimated that about 4 million adults in Germany consume cannabis. Ooh.
Yeah, last month, German officials visited cannabis businesses in California. In a tweet, the German consulate in San Francisco said, officials examine products of dispensaries with equity licenses to better understand cannabis legalization opportunities and risks. So maybe they're going to do something over there as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That's cool.
Yeah, unlike here in Canada.
July, officials from Germany, Luxembourg, Malta, and the Netherlands discussed how Europe could move forward in legalizing adult use cannabis. I like that.
Yeah, as it should.
Yeah, right? They're already there. They're ready. All of them, all of those nations.
Yep. Exactly. All righty. Well, we're just zipping through them today.
Zippity doo dah.
We're trying to get control here, get things in an hour like this. What are we? 22. All right. You know what time it is? It's time for that. That's right. Time for the mushy moment. This is coming to us from the University of Guelph here in Ontario. Plant scientists granted license to study magic mushrooms.
Wow. As interest grows in the possible therapeutic effects of psilocybin, a key active component in so-called magic mushrooms, University of Guelph plant science researchers are preparing to begin research into this promising field.
It's just a couple hours down the road.
Yeah.
After 2 years of effort, Dr. Max Jones and Dr. Gail Bozo, professors in the Ontario's Agricultural College's Department of Plant and Agricultural, has received a Health Canada dealer's license that will allow them and their teams to cultivate mushrooms that are known to produce psilocybin and other compounds.
U of G is one of the first Canadian universities to be granted a license to cultivate mushrooms that produce psilocybin, which remains a controlled substance here in Canada.
Yep. Jones goes on to say that we are very excited about this approval as it will allow us to study these psychedelic mushrooms to better understand their biology and genetics, examine what other functional compounds they could contain, and provide well-characterized and chemically consistent material for preclinical and potentially clinical evaluation.
Now, psilocybin has emerged in recent years as a promising new avenue to treat mental illnesses such as depression, addiction, obsessive compulsive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder.
Several ongoing human studies use psilocybin for psychedelic-assisted therapy, along with psychotherapy. While clinical research into the psychiatric uses of psychedelics is still in the infancy, early results suggest it offers vast potential.
Now, what's interesting about psilocybin is that at least 200 species of mushrooms produce it. Ooh.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Just start picking them off the ground, Al. If they're growing wild, how can they be illegal?
I know, eh? They go on to say that those species aren't that closely related. They're diverse. So that makes scientists like me wonder, what else are these mushrooms producing? If you have 200 species producing a compound that affects the human brain, it's likely they are producing other interesting compounds too.
Now, that area of research interests Dr. Melissa Perrault, a professor in the Ontario Veterinary College's Department of Biomedical Sciences. She studies the molecular and cellular mechanisms involved in the pathology of neuropsychiatric and neurodevelopmental disorders, such as depression or autism spectrum disorders, and those associated with cognitive impairments, such as schizophrenia or Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, holy smokes, eh? She says that there are many already working with psilocybin, but we're interested in the potential biological activity of some of the other compounds in these mushrooms and whether they have any therapeutic value alone or in combination with psilocybin.
Now, Perrault plans to examine other compounds to determine which signaling pathways they may affect, especially substances that could affect synaptic function, inflammatory pathways, and oxidative stress, which are known to contribute to brain diseases and disorders.
Who knew? Like, wow, holy smokes.
Wow.
If there's any potential therapeutic value in these compounds, we would then bring them into some of the models I work with, such as those used to study specific aspects of depression to autism, to examine their therapeutic effects. You know, Kelly, I don't think at any time people were thinking that they'd be saying, mushrooms for autism.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. There's so much to study.
Yeah, there is.
There's so much to learn about this, about the fungi.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing to be able to understand that a little bit more for depression, for autism? Wow.
Oh, for sure. Exactly. They say that future research into psychedelic producing mushrooms will require a consistent and reliable source of psilocybin producing mushrooms, which is what Jones hopes to offer. There is a real need of a public supply of these mushrooms, he said, adding that a few private companies are licensed to produce these mushrooms, but that commercial suppliers often create proprietary formulations.
Quoted as saying, we aim to create a supply of mushrooms to be used for preclinical and perhaps clinical trials in which the genetics and cultivation methodologies will be fully disclosed to researchers and the public.
Yeah, and obviously this work will take place in high security facility on a campus that meets Health Canada's standards, and the research team also hopes to develop a synthetic medium to grow the mushrooms. Currently, they are grown on grains or manure, but the team aims to develop a more consistent and reproductive medium. So there you go. They don't want to grow in shit anymore.
No. Just basically, that's how it is.
Yeah. Well, it might have a problem bringing that stuff into, a lab setting. So I can see where they'd want to have something that is controlled.
Well, they'll figure it out, those scientists.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Well, Rev Kelly, you got anything else you want to? We got our stories in today.
I know we went so speedy today.
Yeah, we did. Eh, just
We,
flew
we
by.
just so we can go and celebrate Halloween, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. We could get the rest of our day started early today.
I'm gonna go trick or treating with my horse.
I'm gonna light one of these.
I'm gonna light my horse.
All right. And how's Hashi doing?
He's good. He's fallen over. He's fallen over down here.
Oh,
He's out.
All right. So, anything in the rest of the week? Anything you want to mention before we say goodbye?
We've got some stuff happening on KGL TV coming up, so watch our socials because you'll find the poster for it coming up this in the next couple of days.
Good stuff. Sounds good. Well, that's a Reefer report for Croptober, which is the last time I'll say that this year because it's the 31st. And we're at the Legacy420.com news desk. Thanks to our buds at BMA Hydroponics, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, and the Legacy 420. Plus, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive.
The only way to go.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.